Welcome back to the Matter of Facts podcast on the Prepper Broadcasting Network. We talk prepping, guns, and politics every week on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. Go check out our content at mwfpodcast.com on Facebook or Instagram. You can support us via Patreon or by checking out our affiliate partners. I'm your host, Phil Rabalais, and my co-host, Andrew Bobo, is on the other side of the mic, and here's your show. And welcome back to the Matter of Facts podcast. I am still nursing my way through my first cup of coffees, and I look like I got hit by a bus, so bear with us. But the annual Matter of Fact summer camp is in the bag. We all literally got home yesterday at varying hours after, I don't know, I think the shortest drive had was probably 5 hours, and I think the longest one was probably about, 14?
No.
Thinking of our Wisconsinites.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he said it was like just over 12.
It was a good little haul,
I think. And then, Tommy, they're weren't they like 4 or something like that, or 5? Are they 5 hours?
Yeah, they were pretty close. They had a nice little easy hop this year.
Yeah.
But for those that are tuning in that don't know what the MOF summer camp trip is, like, this is something we started doing now 2 years ago. So this is the third annual event, and it really has always been restricted to patrons of the show and some really close friends. We've invited the crew from Prepper Broadcast Network to come join us, but it's always been like an opportunity to get together like the show's most intimate supporters, and also like the people we've been at Prepper Camp with and things like that, to get together and just cut loose for a weekend, a long weekend or a week, and have some fun. And
to me, we were the whole Patreon thing. I mean, we're so grateful to the people that help support the show, because without them, I don't think the show could exist. So the one thing that we've been racking our brains on is perks. We're always constantly trying to think of perks for the Patreons and everything. So one of the perks that you and I kind of brainstormed one year was just the MOF camping trip, just to get together. For those we like to go to Prepper Camp, but for those the ones that can't make it to Prepper Camp because of certain obligations or whatever, this is just another thing that we can just get together. And is it going to get as big as Prepper Camp? I don't think so, but it's one of those things where we just get together, and honestly, it's not even compared to Prepper Camp. Like, we don't talk. I mean, we'll talk preparedness, so like it'll come up obviously because of the group of people that we're with together, but this is honestly like just a good vacation for the family, and then just we use it to just meet everybody that's helped support us, and then we just do events together. Like, I mean, and if you don't want to do events together, I went golfing this last time. I went golfing. Josh and his family, I mean, they did their thing a couple times. You guys, everybody kind of just did their own thing. I mean, we went to the caverns, and a few of us went to the caverns. A few people went hiking down a big, really large, down to a waterfall, down the mountain. So it really, like, you can do your own thing, and if you want to do it in a group, we try to just, hey, like, if you're going to plan something, throw it out there, and if other people want to join, then cool. But this is really just, it's a good vacation for the family, I think. And then just, on top of that, we get to kind of hang out with like some good like-minded individuals and just have fun.
But the vibe is very very much like a vacation. It's not centered around an event. It's not centered around classes or preparedness like Prepper Camp is. Like, when we originally started talking about doing this, like my big 30,000 foot vision was always like, I want to do something that people will bring their spouses and kids to, because I've always felt like, the group of us that got together for Prepper Camp, like, we've become very, very good friends over the years, over the 6, 7, 8 years of going to Prepper Camp together. But I felt like if we can't knit the families together, get the spouses together, get the kids together, if we can't do that, we're missing something here. And that's why this event has been intentionally done very differently from a lot of other preparedness events. It's it really is a big group of people who, if you weren't friends when you got out there, you're going to be friends by the end of it. But we're just going to, share drink and eat ourselves until we're swollen like ticks, and we're going to go on hikes together and just goof off. Like it has intentionally been formatted as the zero expectations, run what you brung, do what you want. It's a vacation.
And that's the thing is it, and there's no expectation. So, as far as if you want to show up and you and the family want to go do whatever, honestly, it's like it's one of those things where if you guys want to show up, say hi, maybe chill here and there all the time, but basically have the family and go. I mean, it's that's what it's for.
Mm.
There is zero obligation to hang out with the group, the whole group. It's just we want to meet the people who help support the show, and at the same time, we want to just connect like-minded individuals across the United States. I mean, I always take this book, I take the whole page out of like Franklin Horton's Locker Nine series, where the father has his daughter Grace. He has people lined up across the United States to get her home in case something were to happen. I did the similar thing. I remember my mom and my sister, brother-in-law, and like some of my nieces and stuff like that. They went to Florida. They drove to Florida, and I can't remember what was going on. But I mean, I coordinated with like Tommy. I reached out to Franklin. I reached out to a few people, and I was just like, hey, along their route, is it okay if something were to happen? Can they stop in? And yeah, oh yeah, that's. And I made them a document saying, hey, this is their address. This is who they are. Just tell them who I am, stuff like that. And this is the kind of things that we're trying to push is just we're just trying to build that the community now off of from texting in the signal chat or whatever to just broaden it to, hey, can I get your number? Can we hang out? Hey, I didn't know you're that close to me. And just try to make, I mean, like Josh and I were talking about, him taking some MDFI classes or just coming over when, next time he comes to Michigan, hit me up. I mean, it's those kind of things that it's just like, you don't realize how close some people are. So if we can use this event to help kind of coordinate and get people together and uh, basically increase your group, your mag or whatever, I mean, that's a plus. So we're looking forward to it. I know next year. I guess you want to say it now or
Yeah, I think
yeah.
it's pretty official. Next year is going to be in Michigan.
Yeah, so if you guys, anybody north, I mean, honestly, if you're in the south and you want to travel, by all means, if you fly in, let me know. We can coordinate, and I'll pick you up from I'm not very far from the Grand Rapids Airport, so if you want to fly in, by all means, let me know, and I can pick you up. But but yeah, it's gonna be in Michigan next year. Still looking at locations. Still looking at what everybody, for places for people to do. But yeah, so if you couldn't make it this trip or the trip before that or whatever, if you live close to Michigan, or if you honestly, like I said, if you live far away and you want to fly in or even drive in, just coordinate with us. Let us know. Shoot us an email if you're in the Signal chat. Let us know. Obviously, we're going to put this in the Signal chat with everybody. But if you're not in the Signal chat, let us know. If you are not in the Signal chat and you're a Patreon and you want to be, let us know. Or if you don't really care to
Mm-hmm.
be, just shoot us an email. Just uh, go to the mofpodcast.com and go to the contact at the very bottom, and it'll send to both Phil and I if you guys haven't already done that yet. But let us know you're coming, just so we can get a good head count, and that way I can figure out spaces and stuff. Because yeah, I'm on the hunt for locations to set up. So, but yeah, so yeah, I feel bad because Michigan, it's a long drive for everybody, but Michigan in June is nice. It's not terrible. It's not July. It gets muggy and everything. And right now the mosquitoes aren't terrible. Knock on wood. But no, it should be a good time.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Let me kind of like unpack that just a little bit. Like, the first 2 years we did this earlier in the year over like Easter break, and we did it further south. And the problem we kept headbutting was like, since of the two of us, I'm the one with little hellspawn, and I was coordinating this around like when Easter vacation was for my family, and that doesn't line up all the way around the country. So this year we made the decision to move the summer camp to the summer instead of spring, and everybody's kids would be out of school. Hopefully, there'd be less obligations we'd be competing with. People would be able to come out and bring their families. But that now necessitates we have to go places where it's like semi-reasonable camping weather
Yeah.
in the summer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, y'all are never ever. We're never going to do this in Louisiana unless y'all come down here for like Thanksgiving break. It's too hot in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be
But
92 degrees at 2 in the morning.
jeez. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
there's
But no. If what I was gonna say. If you're interested, let us know. Just because I mean, we don't have an exact date yet, but it will probably be sometime in June. We just don't have an exact date yet. But that kind of narrows it down for everybody as far
yeah.
as goes. But yeah, if you're not a Patreon member, this is Patreon only. If you want to become a Patreon member, I mean, by all means. I don't remember the tiers, but it doesn't. It's not. I think what $1,
It
$5,
starts at
something
a
like that.
dollar a month.
Yeah, and so that's the thing is we appreciate it, and this is just like I said, a perk for everybody uh, that helps support the show. Just hey, we're grateful, we're thankful. Great to meet you, stuff like that. So.
Hmm. And I did want to take just a ever so brief a moment, like talk through like what summer camp was like this year. Just try to give everybody an idea of like, kind of like roughly how we try to work this, because I feel like we have some plans in the wings for next year, but we really can't trot those out until we get things firmed
Well,
up a
yeah.
little bit. But like for this year, so every year our criteria for where we host this has always been that I want to go to a place where we have multiple options for accommodations so that people can come at their comfort level. We have a couple of campers who like their comfort level is lodge or cabin, and that's cool. We have some campers who, if I told them, "Hey, we got a warm bed and a toilet for you," they would snicker and go set up in the parking lot, because like that's how they like to do things. And everybody's in the middle, so we've always said that we need everything from unimproved campsites all the way up to cabins. That way, everybody can come at their own level. We do that also because like some of us godless heathens will live like hobos for a weekend quite happily, but our spouses might want things like running water in toilets, flipping things that no one should really have to have. I'm totally kidding. I hope my wife is waiting to smack me when I get out of this office. But so those are requirements for us. I don't get really hung up on what is there to do in a certain area, because to me, like, we find stuff to get into. Like this time, Andrew, you were at the golf course.
Hmm.
A bunch of us all took it upon ourselves to go on what wound up being about a 4.5 mile hike through the woods, over the hills to grandmother's house, past that, all the way down into a gorge to jump in like a lake at the bottom of a waterfall. Now that sounds amazing. Like I have so many pictures on this phone. Gillian actually started putting them on her personal Instagram yesterday, and I got to spend some time today like getting all that together and starting to get that on our social media, because it's the pictures we took out there were incredible. It was fun. We all got to Some people got to push their what they thought their limitations were. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll admit I was huffing and puffing and sore the next day because I don't know if you can imagine this, but in South Louisiana we don't get a lot of hills, much less mountains.
Well,
So
but
I
also
was
though.
so
Well,
I
so
was
that's
cool. I would have been cool walking 4.5 miles.
yeah.
That's fine. But I use muscles I don't use to go up and down hills.
Well, but what I was also going to say was, I mean, I don't think it was like extreme, but even like, I mean, just think about the elevation change from
Hmm.
where you're at now to, I mean, even if you're 15, 2,000 feet higher, I mean, that's a slight elevation change for you, and your body has, I mean, like I said, it's not extreme, but some people, their bodies just have to adapt to it.
When you spend 360 days of a year at 20 feet above sea level, 1,700 feet is a thing. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure my body was wondering what in the hell I had done to it at that moment. But the hike was probably like the wildest thing that most of the group did the whole time. A lot of time was spent like, jumping in watering holes and just driving around seeing the parks, looking at the scenic overlooks. Honestly, we probably spent more time than anything else because like the one thing we did this year that Gillian and I agreed we're not doing next year is this year we kind of pinned ourselves into like, hey, breakfast, lunch, dinner, who wants to cook where? And
Mm.
because of the group we hang out with, everybody wants to contribute. So we wound up with like 3 meals a day planned for most of those days. And
Mhm.
that's by itself is not a problem, except, you kind of, when you're invited to eat at somebody's table, you kind of feel obligated to come. But that then meant that we were trying to shove like fun in between breakfast and lunch and in between lunch and dinner. And quite a few times the after breakfast activities pushed lunch back to like 2 3 p.m., which pushed dinner back even further. So i
Mhm.
think i think in the future we're going to learn from this experience and say like, we can get together for breakfast, we can get together for dinner, and that's it. Lunch, eat MREs, you're on your own.
Well, it's just a lot. I mean, we had so much food, and I mean, I brought home a bag of chicken from what Tim cooked.
Yep. The
I
sous
I
vide
mean,
chicken.
yeah, the sous vide chicken that he did. Willow had, um, God, we had I I don't know how many. I don't know if the burgers disappeared or not, but I know she had another 6 or 7 that were not cooked. Because we had so much, we had like 30 something patties that her and I made up, plus everything, all the salads and stuff that she made. And so, I mean, that was just our meals. And then I know Josh and his family had a ton of food left over. We had so much food. And then on top of that, though, because we didn't make this was like a last minute decision. I had steaks and chicken and all kinds of stuff that I brought for myself just to cook, and I never touched it.
Because there were
So
so many group
because
meals.
because there were so many meals. So yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things. Is yeah, and then honestly, that's another thing is if you don't want to join in on the meal, I mean, you don't have to. It's like, hey, I got some new camping gear I want to test out, and you want to test it out, cool, more power to you. So, but no, I mean, it's fun. I mean, that's the thing is it was a lot of fun. It could have went. I know, like Gillian was even saying, like she wishes it went like maybe another a day or two because there's so much to explore in that state park,
Hmm.
and so you almost felt like you just cut up. I mean, I'd love to go back to that state park just to visit to do it more. And so no, it was. I mean, yeah, to beat the dead horse, it was fun, and I hope being in Michigan, I'm hoping there's a few individuals that can make it next year, especially one down in Illinois. Not going to name drop Nick, but um, hopefully you can make it. But yeah, no, I mean it's fun. So
And I do know, I do know because I do not remember his name. Please forgive me for that. I saw we had a message from a relatively new patron from the Michigan area. I'm assuming he's from Michigan. I think he said he was from Michigan. I know he said he was
where'd
an
you get the
MD
message at?
violent. It was on the website.
All right,
I just logged into the Wix app and I saw it.
yeah.
But he was asking. I mean, just a couple of days before we left to go on this summer camp, he was asking about where it was, and I responded back and I was like, "There's unfortunately we're leaving tomorrow to go."
Yeah.
But I did go ahead and tell him like we're talking about doing next year in Michigan, which should be pretty convenient for you. But that's kind of the idea is that if we bounce this thing around every year, if we move it around every year, and I'm okay with moving it kind of in the vicinity of a different patron each year, even that way it's convenient for them, but then they also become our kind of embedded asset in that area to say, hey, help me find state parks, help me find stuff in that area. And they can become our little ad hoc tour guide, because that by moving it around every year, we're to get the ability to see people that we otherwise wouldn't because we're too far away from them, or prepper camps too far away from them. But we're also going to get a chance to expose the rest of the group to different environments. Like to me, that's the joy I go through. I love
Hmm.
seeing everybody, and I love meeting all these people. And I don't mind. I mean, like next year, I don't know where we're going to have the event next year, but I do know that from my front doorstep to yours is 15 hours.
Hmm. That's not
So
bad.
it's really well, but again, I don't know like how if we're gonna wind up having to drive north of you to the event. We haven't picked a spot yet.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's not terrible, man. That's a day drive.
Yeah, I think what Gillian and I talked about was we were probably gonna like bulldog it up to probably Nashville the first day, maybe push a little further, and then find a place to bed down because I would rather have a long drive the first day and the second day have a shorter drive because I know that especially if we go camping next year like I would like to, we're going to wind up having to drive and then set up a campsite.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to pick, I'd rather kill ourselves the first day with 10 hours and then the second day we have a 5-hour drive and then we can just hit it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, we got time to figure that out, but I did want to go ahead and kind of preload the conversation with next year's probably going to be in Michigan, and if that sounds like a hop, skip, and a jump away from you, then you should probably get in touch with us and let us know, hey, I'm curious. If you're not a patron and the show's worth $1 a month to you, like, we certainly appreciate it. I'm not going to lie. That goes directly to defraying the cost of running a podcast while not a multi-million dollar operation would be a drain on my finances otherwise. So for those of
Mm-hmm.
you who feel like, spending the cost of a cup of gas station coffee with us every month, thanks. It really does help out. And quite frankly, it means something because it tells me that there's people out there that find some value, even if it's just entertainment, from the stuff we put out. But I do have an absolute mountain of pictures to go through today. I have the roundtable chat we recorded Monday, which I am waiting to I am waiting to fire that up on my laptop and see how that went. I'm pretty sure I was in a drunken stupor. I was on my third
Mm-hmm.
margarita when we fired that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that could be bad.
It's
It
okay.
it might that one's probably going to be patron only because like I didn't intend for it to happen, but several of the kids joined in and I'm not totally convinced I want to put children's likenesses on our publicly available YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though their parents might be totally cool with it. I can make a couple phone calls and ask. I just don't know if I want to do that. So that one will probably be patron only. But we did record it in video and audio, so y'all can listen to all the drunken shenanigans and the kids egging us on, by the way. But I don't know what else to say about this. I didn't want a really long episode today. You've got work. I've got 14 different things to jump to. I haven't even finished unpacking yet. And this is my first cup of coffee since I landed back here in Louisiana.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, I got my laundry about done, and luckily I'd like to do a maybe unpacking of the camping rig, or the truck rig, and how it went. But I mean, because this was like the first major camping trip with it. I'm back for a week or so, and then I'll be gone. I'll be camping again for another week coming up in the Upper Peninsula with one of my good friends. So it'll be another, and that's actually going to be even more remote. That's actually, that reminds me, I need to buy a solar panel for my Goal Zero because that I believe is complete roughing it. Like I don't even think there's electricity or running water or bathrooms besides the pond or the lake that we're going to be camping next to. So, but yeah. So anyway, no, it was fun.
No, it was a blast. And I just want to say, like, for the patrons and for the friends of the podcast that came out to join us, thank y'all. Like it, if it was nothing but me and Andrew getting together, I would love every minute of that because Andrew and I, the only times we get to see each other face to face most years is prepper camp and the summer trip. So like we've gotten to be such good friends over the years of podcasting together. Like it it's something to me just for us to get spend time together. But then when you add in, everybody else that I don't want to name drop that comes out to this thing, Gillian refers to it as it's like a family reunion, and it really is.
Hmm.
Even when one of our patrons for the first time brought his wife and one of his daughters that hasn't come in previous years, and I'm not 100% positive, but I think she might have been. I think she might become a regular to this thing because we did what we normally do. We welcomed her in with open arms and sat her down, and we just brought her in. I see Kristen just joined us, and Kristen's another one. Like Thank you so much for coming. I mean, I love getting a chance to see and hang out with your husband and his friend, who I'm trying not to name drop on the show. I'm like making a conscious effort not to, but it's something special when the people that we've gotten to know over the years say these people are normal enough. I can bring my spouse and my kids out and not be shunned for it afterwards. But I
Yeah,
mean, I
no, it was
guess
great.
definitely. All right. Well, you got anything else you want to insert here, or punt this one out the door so that we can get
No,
back
no,
get
it
back
was
to reality?
yeah, right. No, it was just a great time. It was awesome seeing everybody. I love seeing Tommy and his family. Kristen, it's always fun seeing your guys' rig because I based my truck off a lot of conversations I had with Tommy. So seeing what you guys have, it's always an inspiration for me anyway. On what are the next, what do I need to add or what am I missing kind of thing, because you guys have been doing this for so much longer than I have. But it was awesome seeing you guys and the kids and I mean just everybody. So I'm very thankful for everybody who supports us and the opportunities that we've gotten. So
Yeah. And personally, like, I feel like between prepper camp and the MOF summer camp, I feel like we have finally accomplished something that we set out to do years and years ago. Like, the idea of this podcast was always to try to convince people that preparedness wasn't some weird thing that nutcases did, that it was a normal thing done by normal people for very normal reasons. Like, we all just want to take care of our families and ourselves. We all just want to be able to respond to life's little emergencies. And I
mhm.
feel like this has helped break that stigma, because I will always go back to the comment we got from Holly the first year we did this, when her and her husband and her child came out, and she just remarked, like, very off the cuff, like, wow, y'all are really normal. Because she'd gotten drug out by her husband saying, hey, it's the podcast and preppers and we're going to go hang out with them, and she was a little reticent, and then she was like, oh wow, y'all are really normal, like, you don't live in bunkers and eat MREs, and like, y'all are just normal people. And I'm like, yeah, we're normal ish. We have some odd tendencies and some interesting hobbies sometimes, but like, for the most part, we are normal people, and I love breaking that stigma down so that we can. My hope is that over the years of doing this, maybe, just maybe, we convince enough people's like spouses and their kids, and maybe a little bit they're a little bit more secure about, like, exposing themselves to others and saying, hey, yeah, I'm into preparedness, it's a normal thing. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all about trying to spread that message so that everybody's better able to take care of themselves if the flag goes up.
Hmm.
And on top of that, it's just a really good chance to hang out with a lot of really cool people for a weekend, have a lot of fun, which is something we always do. But I'm gonna go ahead and send it. Andrew has work. I have other kinds of work to do. And we will talk to y'all in another week. If you're patrons, if you're not patrons, I would suggest you look in the show description for links to our Instagram and Facebook, because there will be content going up on those. Lots of pictures and videos, and maybe a reel or two. If you're a patron, I would say keep an eye on Patreon. I'll have something going out there with the video and the audio from the impromptu roundtable we did out there. I'm not promising it's coherent. It was fueled by lots of margaritas, so God only knows what we got into. I don't even remember what we talked about. But y'all can have a good old time giggling at me. But Matter of Facts podcast heading out the door. Talk to you another week. Next year's in Michigan. Don't miss it. You'll kick yourself in the butt if you do. Talk to y'all later, guys. Bye.
Right.